Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sylvia and I make videos on planning with the occasional review. Today's video is going to be my setup for August 2022. Okay, a couple of things. First of all, I was sent a standing desk to do an honest review for, and I just put that together and I had to move my filming desk situation over, and it's just not an ideal place right now. And you can see shadows, I can see shadows, and it's just not great. Also, the day is just, it's gonna rain. And it looks like gloom and doom outside the window. And so this is the time I have to film this. And then on top of all of that, my mother dropped by. Yeah, and that's always fun. And I feel like every time she drops by and then leaves, that I have to I just feel exhausted. Do you know what I mean? Do you have a mother that when she comes by, you're just like overwhelmed by everything that comes out of her mouth? I don't know. My mother is lovely, by the way. I just am not. So there's that. Anyway, let's get to the, what did I say this was? My August setup for 2022. You see, I'm flustered. My mother flusters me. Okay, so I went ahead and I set up everything off to the side here, and this might even be a little bit crooked. Like I mentioned, I just threw the setup together. This is the time I have to film this. And I wanted to do some other things in here. And I needed to film this part. So anyway, these are the things that I am using for August. So I have these erasers, which I love, and highly recommend. I am trying to salvage the eraser that comes with my mechanical pencil. I know you can buy these. I'm just not going to get it together to order $36 or more, whatever it is, to get free shipping from Jet Pens, because I'm sure that you can purchase the erasers for these guys there. So I went school shopping for my niece just to get her the major stuff before it all disappears, and I found a pack of these. There were 4 in a pack, so I gave her 2 and I kept 2 just because I like to draw out my layouts in pencil because it gives me less anxiety. It allows me to change things. So first thing I used. Then I have my Uniball Signo in a 0.8, and this is in silver, so I like to make lines here and there, and this pops and it looks really nice on camera and in real life, so this I highly recommend as well. I have changed my writing utensil for the month of August. Actually, I changed this, I want to say halfway through July. So I changed to a Sarasa clip by Zebra and a 0.5, and I love these because you can buy them in bulk from Amazon. It depends on what you want. I think I got a pack of 10 of these and they're all the same color. I really love how pigmented this ink is and how fast it dries. I also like the Sarasa dry pen, which I don't have anywhere near me. I need to get some more refills for that guy, so I'm going with this one. Basically, I don't know, there's something about, darn it, I don't have it near me, but my 0.4 friction pen, it's writing more like a 0.5 or even a 0.7 on this paper. This is my notebook that I will be using for this month, the Lectturm 1917 in A5 size. Look at, I have just gotten stuff all over this. Jeez Louise. I'm using this, guys, and I think I put this down at the library on a desk, and I don't know if that's gonna come off. It might be ink. Anyway, they were doing some fun collaging and art at the library, and I went with my niece, and now I think that's probably stained. It's fine. We're not looking at the back. Moving on. What was the point? Oh, anyway, so that pen on this paper was writing a little bit broader than I cared for, so I went to this one, and this one's working out well with this paper. So sometimes, you know, in the planner world, when we change notebooks or planners, we have to deal with our pens changing as well. Okay, so this is just a quick shaker pen that I love. It's just quick to get let out immediately. You probably can't see that. You're like, you're probably like, what are you focusing on, Sylvia? And I just painted my nails, and then I get in the shower and all this little access comes off. But I didn't have time for a shower because my mother came and took up that time. So it's fine. I love my mother. Anyway, the next thing that I ended up getting were these new Mildliner sets. And I'm using this color. I'm sorry, I don't know what they're called. I'm gonna have to swatch them. Maybe at the end of this video I will tack that on to the video. I don't know. Anyway, so it comes in a pack of 5. I thought they were gonna stop making this plasticky container that they come in, and they come in like maybe a resealable Ziploc-ish bag container. I have all of the words this morning. Anyway, I don't know. So this might have been like one of the last sets that they actually made like this, but this is called the neutral set, which of course I'm absolutely loving. And of course they're dual-sided as always, so you have like the fine tip that you can write with on this side, and then the highlighter that has that angle on this side. And I'm just using this in I guess what I'm going to go with, I'm going to call it olive color and the gray. Now it does come with a gray, and I imagine that these are the same grays. Maybe they're not. Oh, they look slightly different, y'all. This one looks a little bit darker. I don't know anything about colors. I probably should. I do love art history, but not so big on color stuff. I should learn that. Anyway, so I didn't take this one out because I thought they were the same gray, but now maybe I'm going to want to try to use this one. Who knows? Anyway, I'm not going to carry all of these with me. I just need the 2. I have my regular pencil case you've seen in other videos. It's just not by me right now because, again, my setup has been moved and half of my stuff is on the other side of the room somewhere under stuff because I'm rearranging stuff. The other 2 things that I used for the month of August are my can't even pick these up, stencils. So I use this one by Kokyo, and then I use this one by Hobonichi. This is for the weeks because it has the smallest numbers that I could possibly find in a stencil. Okay, so now we can move on to the actual bullet journal, which I mentioned is an A5 size. So I started this in July, which is at the 6-month point of the year, so this is only going to be my 2nd month in this bullet journal. So I thought I would talk about some of the things that I did go ahead and change for August. I don't know if this is crooked. I can't, my setup is so different here and the camera angle is different, so hopefully this comes out okay. I am just going to stick some post-its underneath this side because I find that when you have, like when you're at the beginning of your notebook, it kind of tilts this way because it doesn't have a lot of pages on that side. So just for aesthetic reasons only, see how that looks a little more even, I think maybe? Hopefully. See how it goes. Maybe it looks exactly the same, Sylvia, whatever. Okay, so what I did was this part up here, this section of my monthly was really driving me crazy. I had thought originally that I was going to put the 31 days up here and I was going to do some tracking, but I don't track things like that. That's why I have a weekly chart. I track things there, and I like to have space to write more about what I'm tracking other than a tick box or a check mark. It just doesn't work for me, and I knew that, and I left the space anyway, and I left space off to the side here, and I thought that if I wrote some to-dos, this would look really crazy and cluttered, and I just wanted it to look really clean. Does that make sense? I don't know. So I decided I'm gonna leave everything blank and it's just fine, and I actually like the way it looks. But I don't like having just some space like this that could be utilized, so I changed that for the month of July. So let me show you what that looks like. So here is, did I say for the month of July? I think I did. I meant the month of August. My mother has me flustered. So for August, I changed up the style of vellum I put here. And this is by, oh, I just had the name on the tip of my tongue. Sterling Ink, I believe. It's something about raindrops, which is what it looks like. And it's just so beautiful and muted. And I really like that. I don't really care for bright things. It just, I don't know, it hurts my heart. But this is lovely. And I decided to go with this kind of olivey color that also is kind of like a brownish, there's brownish tones in there. So this matched pretty well, I have to say. Look at that. It's almost perfect match. And then I put August off to the side here. So next to my cover page, I could kind of work out what I wanted to do for August. We still have a week left in the month of July, so I'm trying to see what's going to roll over this next week, and I'll probably write stuff here. So right here is my monthly, and you'll see that I'm using another one of these washi stickers that I love, and it was going to take up part of the monthly boxes, and I was like, F it, I'm gonna do it anyway. So it takes up part of the 1st and the 8th, and I think that's just fine. I didn't need to write August here again, but again, because I didn't like the white space there, it made me feel like I had to put something there. I was like, I'm just gonna put August, and then I can leave it alone. So the other thing I did was I adjusted the measurements, I believe, on the other monthly. This was something like, I don't remember, 7 by 6. And this is just a perfect square, so it's just 7 by 7. And that allowed me to go all the way to the top, which was really important to me because it meant there was no extra wasted space. I do have some space here, which I don't know, for whatever reason, this just seems okay. Like, it seems like I could put some major things that I want to get done, like goals for the month, right here. Again, you can always put that here on your cover page right next to it. There's no wrong way to do that or no one place to do that, so that's something I can do. I can also put a quote here if I feel like I'm getting anxiety about this white empty space. There's a point in my life where white space didn't bother me as much, but for some reason on the monthly, I was having some struggles. So this is open. I have another week to figure it out. I'm not loving all of the shadows I'm seeing. Sorry, you don't care. Anyway, moving on. It's a new setup. We're okay. I am parched. I had to grab some water. So, okay, where was I? Okay, this is my weekly chart. And I mentioned that this is the way I like to track. I'm going to zoom in a little bit because sometimes when there's too much white on the page, you can't really see the lines or what anything says. So hopefully that's a little bit better. Anyway, I like to track this way because when I do something for 15 minutes, I like to write down what that thing was so that I can look back and be like, oh yeah, I already did that for 15 minutes instead of just having a check mark. Usually this looks like, I think I have a couple. There was at some point I had one. Okay, so on week 26, I had one of these guys here, this little chart. And this doesn't tell me much about, you know, what book I reviewed, you know, that week. So I prefer to have like this little box where I can write a little bit more information. So when I look back, I know what happened there. So my categories are 15 minutes, study, movie, and TV. I usually have social media here, and that was bothering me. It's another change for this month. Basically, I don't do social media every day, and I don't really want to anymore. So there was a time when I was like, you're not doing enough. You need to be on social media, learning and educating yourself and blah, blah, blah. I just don't care anymore. So I'm going to put a different category here that will be allow me to write down what days I am on social media. So uploading a video or editing or uploading to Instagram, posting to Instagram, I guess I should say rather. And then something else, so there's not so many blank spaces because that's really driving me insane. Again, like, I don't know why, but white space in this bullet journal is really becoming an issue for me. And I'm incredibly offended, apparently. Then I have reading and audio, and then Jade with her/chores. And that's usually like stuff that she does here so that when she gets monies for things or, you know, school, we're going to go school shopping. And I imagine all of the money that she's going to be making will go to that anyway. Excuse me. So I just know what she's done. And then I have, I was going to show, no, I don't need to show you that. Basically, we have some black spots here. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but we do. And that's just because I'm not used to using this guy in my bullet journal. So I'm used to using friction pen, and so I've been smudging. It dries pretty fast, but I just move things around and touch things without thinking, and so situations like this happen. There was a situation, I think last week, where I wrote contains when I meant to write container, and then I was like, oh, I'm just gonna erase that, and I was like, no, you can't. And I'm like, oh yeah. So feeling the pressure of not being able to erase, but also loving this pen and how opaque it is and how it works on this paper. So, you know, there's that. The other thing I forgot to bring over, because it's under things on the other side of the room, is my stamp. So these stamps are by Midori. No, I'm gonna have to get them because you're gonna wonder, if you're new, what I'm talking about. Hold up, I'll be right back. Okay, so I've shown these in past videos. These are the 3 that I own. So these are just like random lists, like headers for lists. And then this is the days, of the week, excuse me. And then the days of the month. So I use these up here at the top, and because I'm the world's best stamper, sometimes things like this happen. But I've been consistently using these for months now, since I was in my A6 bullet journal. If you saw videos on that, and these were like 20 bucks a piece, something like that. And I thought, Sylvia, that's a dumb investment. You don't even like stamps, but it has the cartridge inside, and I thought that made it really easy for someone who's, why are we not focused? I think it's focusing on that. Someone who's not a stamper and is not going to get it together, who has, you know, problems being decisive and has a ton of different stamp colors, and you know, I end up picking black pretty much, I would say 85% of the time anyway. So this one already has the black cartridge in there, and I don't have to sit down and choose or find a color or dig them out of a box. It's just already in there. So I really like that. I highly recommend these. And so I've just been using that because I like how uniformed everything looks when I use them. I just really appreciate that. Are we focused? Yes, I think we are. Okay, so I really appreciate that. I'm still using them on here. And I think that's everything I wanted to say about this. Oh, also to remind you that on my monthly, on this side, and on my weekly chart, I measure out 5 millimeters off into the, what do you call this? The border, because it just doesn't have that extra column of dots that I need to make this even. So if you're wondering, hey, how come yours does that? It's because I measure it that way. I just put, what, 3 dots make a line. I think that's what we learned in our class. And I just draw the line there. Okay, now we're on to the weekly. What did I have to say about this and what I learned? So basically I decided to get rid of the weekly chart because, again, ticking off boxes, they just don't work for me in that way when it comes to habit building or tracking, rather. So I left this space open, and this is just where I do probably about a paragraph or 3 or 4 lines of a weekly review, just, you know, things that worked, things that didn't, anything I need to know when I'm making or setting up my spreads for the next week, or just, you know, in general. So that's what I do there. And then of course this is just my to-do list. None of this has changed. I go 3 in, and then I believe this is 8 where I make a line, and then the rest is just this side. So scheduling things over here, appointments and such, and then this is just for everyday tasks that I pull from over here or from the monthly. So my camera is having all of the struggles focusing. I hope that this has been in focus, because I'm just looking up and realizing it wasn't. And then we get to the daily section and situation. So I can show you a past one because I only did it one time. Okay, so I decided to go with the dailies that was, what, it's 4 pages. As you can see, I didn't do well with it. Basically, I went ahead and I used my stencils to go ahead and stencil in the day of the month, and that was a hot mess because I ended up not using this spread for that week. And so I put washi tape on the top because it's an easy fix, which is what I love about a bullet journal. And I wrote over the top of it the next week, the following week, which I only used for half of the week and not the end, not even the review. I was just like, I don't even know. So that's what ended up happening here. And it was such a hot mess that I decided, no, no, no. After this week, I'm not doing any more dailies. And I didn't, and that worked just fine. So I really just utilize this weekly spread that I have. It's like week on one page and memo essentially on the other. And then I don't really need dailies because you have dailies, right? Each day's there. That's how I look at it. This month I was thinking about, and I haven't drawn it out because I just want to wait till the end of this week in case I change my mind. I thought about doing like a weekly spread where I put my vocabulary, just like the words that I want to do vocab on, and then things I want to research for that week, and just have all the weekly thoughts in one spread. There's a couple ways you can do that. You could do that like on one spread, or you could go in the back where there are collections and make a collection specifically just for vocabulary and put the words there, and do definitions somewhere else, which is what I am potentially looking to do because I really like Notions. It's an app. I believe that it's free. I think you can pay for maybe some things. I don't know. I use the free version of Notion, and I like the way I learned vocabulary that way because you can put in the word and then you have like a little drop down menu that has a reminder of what it means, and then another drop down menu of the actual definition. So you have to think about it for a minute instead of just reading the definition right next to the word. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get it together to cover it with a piece of paper and say, okay, this is the word. What does it mean? So I just think it's a better way of learning. It's a better tool. And I've seen a lot of research that backs it up on YouTube. So as much as I do love doing a vocab spread and making it look nice and whatever and having the words, it's just not really functional in my opinion. So I'm going to be nixing my vocab spreads, I think, for this month. And of course, it's a bullet journal. So at the end of the week, if I feel like I'm, itching for a vocab spread or it's just not working out, I can always go back to it and it's not that serious. And I think that is everything. So what are your guys' thoughts? Oh, I know. I missed something. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about before I go is the fact that I had to skip some pages in between July and August because the Lectturm 1917 is on a grid, meaning that you're supposed to have a border around and the exact same amount of dots down and across every single page, which is incredibly helpful when you're trying to do spreads and what have you. But for some reason, and maybe it's just this book, it was either sewn, because this is a sewn notebook, it was sewn too tight or kind of a little off. And so some of these pages, like this whole line here, this whole column rather, of grid is kind of down in in the crevice, and so I couldn't use that when I was doing my spread, which was throwing me off on those pages. Sorry, my camera is just okay. Focus camera. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so it's kind of odd. And I had to skip those pages because they were kind of like too tight together. Sometimes the glue also, you have to pull the pages down and apart. That happened on like, I think it was 3 spreads. So I skipped three spreads to get August, a place where I could get it together a little bit more. You might see that the dots are slightly closer, probably not, and you guys probably don't care. But for those planner people out there that understand how the struggle is real, those bullet journal people, you can see the dots are super close together, and usually there's more of a border in between these. This little, what do we call this? I keep calling it a crevice. It's the bend in the book. I can't think of the words right now. My mother. I'm just gonna blame my mother. Anyway, flustered. Because of that, I just had to skip those pages, and it was kind of annoying and a hot mess, but it is what it is. Those pages I can do something else with, and that's the beauty of a bullet journal. If this had been a pre-printed thing, that would have drove me insane. Of course, I wouldn't be drawing things out, but I would have noticed, and it would have bothered me more. So that's that. For those of you who are wondering, I think I had somebody mention Like, they asked me why I draw this in pencil, and that they never thought about that, and they really liked that. Again, I think it was Ellie's Corner, the first person I saw really drawing things out in pencil. And so the reason why I like it is because I think it looks cleaner, and I don't want my layout to be as harsh as the words I'm actually writing. Like when I'm scheduling things in here, I want it to kind of blend into the background. So I want whatever I write in these boxes to pop. And so therefore I use a pencil. And plus, I'm a hot mess, y'all. I like pretty things, but I have to erase things because I forget all of the time. Like, honestly, when I draw this out, I draw the line all the way down because I'm not sure what I'm going to want to erase. Like, last month, the boxes were different. My coat's falling off, sorry. It's very cold, even though it's summer, because it's been raining like crazy and it's freezing back here. So last time, what I did was, instead of erasing these boxes, which you can certainly do, I went ahead and I put part of June up here. And I did that, I explained that, and the reason for that was that this week happened to be half June and half July, and that's why I have lines here to remind me that this is a separate month than this one. And so therefore it made a ton of sense for me to add that in there, I guess. I don't know. It just depends on what your preference is. But since this week is one of those beautiful weeks where it all just falls in the same month and it starts with the 1st, which makes me so happy as a person. You also let me know down below. I didn't have to, you know, put half of, or not half, but a few days from the last month up here. And so that's why the space is here and not up here. And therefore, I just erased it. I was like, I don't really need to see the next 4 days of September. I'm perfectly fine with not having that here. So, which my mother's birthday is September 5th. Aw, that's coming up. My mother, just kidding. And yeah, I guess that's everything. So that's why I do pencil. It's easy. Sorry, I've been talking away and I didn't even realize that my camera cut me off. What was I saying? Oh, the subtlety of the pencil. You can actually get it a little more subtle than this. I have my lights on because it's a dungeon in here, so maybe it doesn't look as dark on camera as it actually is. But that's just depends on the hardness of the lead you're using, and mine's a little bit darker, so I might go with something that's a little bit lighter next time. But you know, that's just, again, preference. No worries. So this is my monthly, guys. What are your thoughts? Do you like that I took it up a little bit more? Do you like to see a couple of days of the next month? Again, I mentioned how that worked in July and why I didn't think it was necessary in August. Sorry, man. I gotta get going and doing other things. My brain is already on all the things I have to do, and that's why I am struggling here. Yeah, I like my weekly. I don't know what I'm going to put here. Social media and something else so that these boxes fill up a little bit more. Because I don't like that sometimes I try to just do social media for 1 or 2 days so that I don't have too much anxiety about social media, because there's just so much heartbreak in the world. And for 2 days, I allow myself to feel all of it. And the rest of the time, I just can't. I can't in order to function with somebody with severe anxiety disorder. So if you feel that way, also, you know, let yourself off the hook, because it's hard sometimes to have to fill that every day. Some people are able to ignore it and I just can't. So I have to like stay off the social medias. Here, what else did I do that I really liked? I don't know. It's just working for me. This is working for me. So I'm just going to pull it over to this month. I kind of miss my A6 and how small and compact it is. But I feel like I've been using the back pages that are just, you know, personal stuff so much that I really like this size, and it fits in my purse. If you watch that video where I did what's in my bag, you know that I can carry this in my backpack purse, and it goes with me outside whenever, you know, if you're going to the zoo or something and we're going shopping for school supplies and school clothes, and we might be going to the bigger city to do some of that. So I just needed something I could carry on my back and have hands free. I'm just loving it, and I'm loving the setup. So that is everything. I also have to prepare because my mother's coming back. She's picking up stuff for this big like reunion thing that's happening. So, all right. Gotta love your mothers, people. Everyone. It's like a rule or something. All right. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope that this was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.